Okay, so what you're going to do, let's say you got the deluxe, you're going to take this deluxe, open it, and it is the exact same process. So you're going to drag and drop the folder. Now, say you already have the folder here, right? When you drag and drop this, boom, this thing will do this loading process. And if it prompts you to replace, you just replace the files in the destination. It's all good. That's how it's supposed to work. Everything's sort of been packaged so that the installation process is smooth as butter. All you got to do is that's how you install everything. I'm going to install all 3 of these because it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter. 3, so put that in there. Make sure you're getting it on the side and not putting it inside another. You see this, replace the file names, you just replace, it's no big deal. And that's it, you've got your thing installed. So what you want to do next is you want to go to your gameinfo.txt. So that would be located in your user mod folder, gameinfo.txt right here. And what you're going to do is you're going to add a line, preferably close to the top of your directories. You're going to give it a name, game, and fluid, and you're going to name it exactly the name of that thing. So Fluid Script Studios _tools. Okay, then you're going to save, and that's it. Now you're good to go. You're going to open up SFM. And what you're going to find in these folders, so there's 3 folders inside of that mod. It's an elements folder, materials folder, and models folder. And in those folders are some subfolders that you'll find. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to navigate to the first way that you can access the tools, which is by opening a session. So you go into, you're going to navigate to your directory. You're going to find Fluid Script Studios _tools. You're going to go to your elements, and the first way, right, is the sessions. You go to sessions, and I'm going to take this deluxe here, and this will open up a session that has the model inside. I'll just let this load, and here you will see you'll see the model with a little thank you note from us. The terrain plane deluxe is color coded in a gold color. But anyway, so that's one way to access your model, is to just open up the session, which is located in that elements folder. I'm going to show you a second way to do this. So I'm going to a second way to get access to the model. So say you already have a session and you want to use the model in something you've already made or are making currently. So I'm going to, in fact, create a new session. So I'm going to go to something I recently have. Okay, let's choose this session. So here, this is another session. It's got nothing in it, but I would imagine yours has stuff in it. I'm going to just load up a map that I know will load without SFM crashing. The black void map, disabling the lighting. What you're going to do, okay, is you're going to hit this home button. So you go to home, this home button in your element viewer. So go to your element viewer, hit the home button. It's called root, the root thing here. And what you'll see is sessions and a bunch of drop-down buttons. You're going to hit the active clip. Then you're going to hit the subclip track group. Then you're going to hit tracks. Then you're going to hit film. Then you're going to hit children. Actually, you're going to select children. And here you're going to hit, you're going to right click and import element. And if you navigate to that mod, right, which is Fluid Script Studios _tools in your directory, in the elements folder, you'll find this folder called tools, and there you'll find the 3 tools again. So same sort of naming convention. And let's say you got the deluxe, so you put that in, and what it does is it imports it as a shot. And so you see here the model is there as inside this shot. You're going to just copy this, and then you're going to paste. You're going to select your actual shot in your session, and then paste it. And now it's there. So now you can delete this. Deleting this, you can delete this shot that was imported. You don't need it anymore, and there's no cleanup necessary. So that's all you got to do to get your model. And let's see if we could see it. Yep, there it is. Perfect. All right, I'm going to load up Stage real quick, and we're going to move on to, so that's the installation process. Now we're going to move on to the basic introduction, which, okay, this model, there is so much to this model that I can't properly go through everything about it in a short video, but I'm going to try to get through as much as I can to give you the general idea of how to use this thing, what it's capable of, and all of its, and try to go through each one of its features. So the first thing is that, as you can tell, it's a plane with a lattice of bones for moving them around and stuff like that. Select it. Oopsie. So if you were to select it, you can actually move these bones in space like that. The idea is that this is for making terrains. So that's the general idea of the model. But here's the juicy bits, okay? If you go into the materials of this model, so we're gonna right click, show an element viewer, model. And if you click on materials, and by the way, you should have a layout that looks sort of like mine, because with when you're going to be manipulating materials, you kind of want this easily accessible. So that's why my setup even looks like this. You want your element viewer just always out in front, you know. Anyway, you go to the materials, you're going to find your skins. Now, if you have the free model, you're only going to have one skin, but if you have the deluxe or the terrain plane advanced, you're going to have 6. The deluxe and the enhanced, they have a PBR setup. So 2 of the materials here are for they're stacked with each other, so that one of them is for the base texture, sort of, and then the thing on top of it is the specular reflections. Anyway, it has that for 3 different shaders. So the first shader is vertex lit generic, second shader is unlit generic, and the third shader is refract. Just to explain real quick about why you might want to use particular shaders. Unlit generic is great for things that shine. Basically, unlit generic doesn't accept shadows. So it's good for things that shine or are transparent, or like, you know, windows and things like this. You can also use it for parallax depth, which I'm not going to go over in this video, but you can use it for doing that. That's one reason I even have it there, is because I want to use it for parallax depth. And then the refract shader is also for making things like water, also transparent things. And you're going to see me later on go through and probably show off all three shaders, and how robust you can kind of just use all 3 to get a thing that you're after. The primary thing that is normally used for a lot of models is vertex lit generic. So that's why it's first here. Anyway, if you click open this thing, you're going to find the strings, these strings for accepting textures. The first is the base texture. Now, if you have the deluxe, right, you're going to have the deluxe comes with, I think, 70 something or 60. Yes, about 70 custom authored 4K textures. And so this is where we introduce the system of how that's actually set up. So if you typed in, say, dirt_A, _A stands for albedo, which is the same thing as like a base color, or you know what I mean, the actual normal looking texture. So if I type that in, you'll get a dirt texture. So there's that. _A denotes albedo. That's what that means. The bump map is reflections. So if you typed in dirt_B, B for bump map, you get the bump map to the dirt, and there you can see it there. Ignore this shiny thing. In fact, I'm going to turn this shiny thing off. Preset. So there we go. So that's the bump map for the dirt texture. Now, again, if you also have the deluxe, you can type in dirt_D, and nothing seemed to happen. But if you were to go to your sliders and you started increasing the detail intensity, you're going to start seeing this is the virtual blend texturing effect. Okay. Now, if you don't have the deluxe, you can type in something like, well, you're not going to have any of these textures, but say you typed in something like Rust A. You can also type in Rust A and albedo. And what will happen, instead of the thing going going transparent like that, what will happen is it'll just mix the two together. So you see how it's mixing the two colors together? So I could do something like brick A, and you see now brick is mixing in the color with the thing, like so. So I can basically blend two colors together like this. Also, go back. Let's go to brick D. So here you can see all the textures that come with the deluxe. They have their own custom-made ability to properly do this virtual blend texturing effect here. Anyway, let's go now to the env map. So the env map is basically the stuff comes with just one env map called Cumulus E. You're not going to really change that all that much. Oh, by the way, _D stands for detail. That's what that means. _D is for detail. So just to go over everything, right? The underscoring system. _A is albedo. _B is bump map. _D is for detail, and _E is for env map. Okay. Now on the env map, there's only one. So, but typically, how you make an env map is you take a picture of the you do this little command with the light probe in the thing, and it'll take a panorama of your stuff, and then that's how a env map works. If you know how env maps work, then that's for you. That's the option for you to use. In the sliders, you're going to see there's the ability to just slide these up. So let's just go to 0.5 here. See, and that's your env map. Now let's get something that looks a little bit easier to see. So I'm going to go to metal B. There we go, and there's your metal cumulus, and that's your your cumulus env map with a metal bump map on top of it, and underneath is dirt. So I was saying that there's basically a lot of combinations that you can make with this thing. I named the exact number on the Steam page, but it's an astronomical number. You'll probably spend forever going through every iteration. Like if you just spent time just looking through every combination, you're probably never gonna ever get to all the combinations in a human lifespan. So basically, just you think of a thing that you want to make, and the wording. And by the way, this system, the way it's named like this, is based off of just inserting a easy to remember name convention, like an easy to remember naming scheme. So it's like, okay, what do you want to make? You want to make dirt. Okay, do you have that? Yes, you do. Okay, what about grass? So grass _A, you have that. So you have grass here. Got two, grass B. Let's turn the env maps off, and as you can see, you're going to see me doing this very fast. So I could turn the env maps off. It doesn't take much time. And there's your grass texture. Now we're going to get into a bit of the sliders. Okay. So the first thing is, okay, so I'm going to actually switch to this thing, tile, the thing. So tile B. Let's do tile D. So now we have the sliders, and this is also where we're going to get into the whole PBR aspect as well. So you can scale this texture. So as you can see, this is the, let me make this bigger, get a better. So once you've decided, you know, what textures you want to use, now you can start playing with the sliders. And so here you can see that we got the scale texture. We can rotate it, okay, with the sliders, okay. We can translate it in the X and Y directions. And so yeah, that's going to be real useful for making your scene builds. You no longer have to do crazy shit to in terms of like you know, everything is like the touch of a button, you know, and a lot of freedom in doing this. The second thing, so now you have your detail, right? So this is the detail for tiles. Detail intensity increases this effect. So if you're using the detail, if you have the deluxe, right, you'll get this effect for the when you enter a detail texture. If it was tile A, right, or actually dirt, this mixes the two colors together. So I just explained that earlier. You can scale this. As you can see there, it's scaling the texture. Let's actually go to tile D, just so we can see how this looks. You can scale this into anything that you want. I'm actually going to go to something like D. And here you can see we can kind of scale it however we like for the detail. And that's what that's doing, is it's scaling the secondary texture underneath it. Rotate, so you can rotate the secondary texture underneath it. Again, separate from the scale, right? I mean, from the regular texture. So you can see me doing this. I'm rotating the tiles right now. Here, I'm rotating the detail. So that's already quite a lot. You can see how much you can do potentially with this. Translating it, right? So you can do that. Translating it here. The Phong, okay? So now there's the Phong that we're dealing with. You can increase the Phong. Let's change this back to tile D. I'm going to reset this back to normal, and I'm going to reset this back to normal. So the Phong, so this allows us to increase the Phong intensity for how much reflections that we want. The exponent makes it sort of bigger, like the fall off. It makes the fall off bigger or smaller, so we can get tighter. And also, it's worth mentioning that all these sliders are remappable. So let's say you want to go 1500 because you're crazy like that. You can do something really, really specular like that. Now everything's already set up to really good values, so you don't really have to change this that often. But anyway, so that's affecting the Phong. Okay, the texture color, so you can affect the colors as well. So let's just say you wanted to change this to, I don't know, the color here. Teal, perfect. Yeah, so now you have teal tiles. And that was very easy to change the color. You didn't have to go into the element viewer to do all this. Let's say you want to change it back because you didn't like it. You select all three and you hit the default, and everything goes back to what it was. Let's say you want to increase everything. You hit the 1, and there you go. You got a brighter texture. You hit 0, that'll make it black. So use these procedural presets to help you manipulate these sliders a lot faster as well. The env map, we showed this off earlier, but if you hit the 1 key here, the 1 procedural here, this will just turn them all on at once, and now you have a little bit of a reflective surface with the cumulus thing. Say you want to turn it off, you just hit the off button. Transparency, now transparency doesn't exactly work well on vertex lit generic, hence why you'd want unlit generic and unlit generic. But here you can at least turn this down, and as you can see, once it hits like a certain percentage, it just kind of disappears, and you'll get sorting issues if you use transparency here. But it's here anyway, just in case that you want to use it as a slider. And also, it seems to be like increasing the thingy here, which is kind of cool. But anyway, so the transparency, so that's the first 17 sliders, all right? And if you have the regular terrain plane, those are all the sliders that are available to you. So there's a lot of value already packed into just the free thing. But the paid thing, you know, that's where you get all the cool stuff with the virtual texture blending and these other things, these other shaders and stuff. Oh yeah, and we're gonna get into the displacement stuff later. We haven't gotten to the terrain part yet of the terrain plane, but we'll get there. Um, so the second skin, right? The second skin that is the called the specular. If you see here, the vertex lit generic PBR and the vertex lit specular. This is where we go to add the. This is where you do your PBR stuff. So. And also you can do combinations. You don't have to stick straight up to PBR. You can just put different bump maps together to get different kinds of combinations. Anyway, this increases. So what we got to do is we're going to open the second skin and we're going to type in the thing that we want. So let's go to grass. Actually, let's go to Rust B. Okay, I'm dumb. I got confused with the scale. I was turning up scale instead of the. Okay, so here we go. The specular level is actually increasing the Phong of the second thing. So, right, what you could do, right, one possible way to use this model to do stuff is to basically have two textures combined, two base textures combined. So the one texture is the detail, right? From earlier, we have our detail here. You could put so that's why I put Rust A over here. And Rust B could be the bump map to the specular. Whoopsie, that's doing that again. And now I can give a bump map to the thing that it's mixed with. You get what I'm saying? So that gives you even more sort of ways to sort of make a combination of these things to get more detail out of the thing that you want. And so you can scale the specular. As you can see, I can scale the specular thing. And you can also, from previous, you can scale the detail to match it if you want, or they can be totally separate. It doesn't matter. It's up to you how you want to actually use it, the way you use it. You can rotate the specular, okay? Translate the specular, just like everything else. You can do all these functions. The Phong intensity, that was what we just went over. Phong exponent, so if you want to make it fall off or to be really sharp, you can do that. And this specular also has an env map, so if you want to add the env map to this particular thing instead of to the other one, you'll see that it takes in this detail. It'll use this it'll use this one for that effect. You can also use both of them in tandem if you want to do that. I don't know why you'd want to, but I guess you can see how they're kind of combining. So now you have sort of both of them on. Again, there's just a ton of ways to actually use this thing to create different levels of reflectivity on surfaces. It's quite a lot. So we're gonna try to chug through this. So that's vertex lit generic. The next thing is unlit generic. So that's the next skin that's good for making things like parallax depth and like things that are like, you know, that you want to be seen or to shine without shadows. So like emissive surfaces and things like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to change skins. And here we have this is the second skin. By the way, what you want to do, just good housekeeping, is any skin that you're on skins that you're not actually using, you want to change them to none A and all the downloads have this. None B for the bump map, none D for the detail, none B again for the specular there. And you want to do that because you don't want to use up memory on stuff that you don't actually have, that you're not using. So these none textures are like defaults, you know, they don't take up any space. But just make sure you do your housekeeping if you're concerned about memory upkeep. But anyway, so on this unlit generics, now we're going to minimize those. Unlit generic has its own sort of way that it works. So we're going to open the materials there. And now I'm going to try to rush through this as fast as I can. But basically, we can change this unlit generic to, let's do tiles again, because it's kind of easy to see tiles. Now you can see there's no shadows, right? So you can tell here there's no shadows. In fact, actually create our own lights just so that we can have a perspective here. As you can see, it's unlit. You see that? So it doesn't actually light up from lights. And that's sort of the purpose of it. It does receive Phong, so that's something to keep in mind. It receives Phong. But yeah, unlit acts as like it's almost like it's the same kind of texture that a skybox uses as well. So it's just you'll have certain uses for an unlit generic thing, and you're gonna see one of those uses. So here, let's go back to our plane. We can scale this texture just like anything else. Rotate it and stuff. So we're gonna skip these two things here. Now we can actually add a detail texture, and what this is going to do, you can't control the intensity of it. So Rust A, but what it's going to do is it's going to just combine it's going to just combine the two together. So whatever you pick, say you pick brick A, it combines that. But let's see if this does. Oh yeah, that's right. The virtual texturing. I don't think virtual texturing works on the unlit generic. So keep that in mind. Oh right, because there's no detail in it. So tile. So let's go back to dirt A here. Actually, let's go to something we can actually see. Soil. That's so here we can see the soil is combining with the tiles below it. Again, we can rotate that, translate it, scale it. We could change the colors to whatever we want. We can make it brighter, we can make it darker. We can add our end map here. There's our reflection there. And as you can see, this looks actually quite nice for a reflective surface. Transparency now, this is the important part, is this allows you to go transparent without bumping into sorting issues, as far as I'm aware. So you can see here now we have something that actually looks kind of like a window. So that's an important thing to use this for, is stuff like windows. And now the obvious like thing that you don't like is like, okay, well, there's not much detail there in terms of like light detail. And that's why we have the unlit specular here and why you'd want to use this. So we're going to go to this unlit generic specular, this skin right here. I hope I'm recording, by the way. Yes, I am. Good, because I've been yapping. So on this bump map, on the unlit generic specular, we're going to hit tile A. And now we have a specular on our tiles. Just want to make sure this is correct. Yes, I think it's correct. I want to set the scale to, yeah. Okay, so different colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change them. Color this. By the way, there's plenty of reasons you might want to use. There's plenty of things you can do. This stuff. So okay, so this tile. Yeah, now it looks like it. Anyway, this is the kind of detail you want on. This is the kind of reflection light detail that you might want on a. Decrease the component. So look at that. It's beautiful. So if you want a window or a transparent surface, this is your thing. This is the thing that you want to do. And no funky source bugginess with alpha sorting. So this is your savior here for doing this shit. So okay, end map. We can custom. You can do your own thing here. So here you go. The second end map for making it even more detailed. Anyway, this is what you want to get this beautiful transparent kind of stuff. So okay. Oh yeah, and it also has its own transparency thing too. So that's great. All right. So now I'm going to set all these to default again. We're going to move on from unlit generic. And we are going to go to the final one called refract. Skin number 2. We're going to set all these to none for good housekeeping. And B. And here is our refract texture. So for those of you who know what refract is for making stuff like water. And here, so on the refract texture, we're going to open this. And I'm going to save just in case my thing crashes. You never know. Normal map. So here in normal map, it's denoted by a /B. So here you're going to type in tile_B. And you see nothing changes here, but that's because on this refract intensity, it's set to 0 by default. I should probably change that. But if you turn it up, you can see actually that, okay, it's a little bit hard to see, but there it is. You can see the refract is increasing. You see that? So that's the refract. We can scale the refract any amount we want. We can, again, rotate it and translate it in both of these directions. We can increase the color, which is what I'm going to do right now, that it looks a bit more pleasant to look at. And we can add an env map if we wanted to. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this, but to see what it looks like. Oh yeah, it doesn't look so bad. So that's your, I'm going to increase just a little bit more. So there's your refract. Let's add, okay, a refract tint texture. Let's talk about this for a minute. Rock. Oh, it's denoted by a, so a refract tint texture is basically the same as a base texture. It's just a normal texture. So it's denoted by a _A. So rock_A, and it gives you this thing underneath it. Now, that's what it looks like. We can do something maybe like caustics. Do I have this? Caustics A? No. Okay. Forget that then. Rock A. So there we go. This refract scale will actually scale everything. So there you have that. My opinion is you want to keep this maybe to something like none. Okay. Like if you're making water, you know, and then just change the colors so that they, that you have something that's more blue, you know. This is our attempt right now to make water. So go. And now, by the way, and this is where this is going to come in. I should have said this earlier, but everything supports animated textures. And if you get the deluxe, you're going to also get an animated texture in there. So let's see. Here in tile B, we're going to type in water_B. And there you have it. That's your animated water. And we're going to scale it. Can we do that? Yes, we're going to scale it like so here. And what we're going to do, let's see if there's anything else we could do to this. Oh, yeah, I think that's pretty much okay. So that's our water currently. What we're going to do next is we're going to add the, so refract uses a bump map to get you that lighting detail, but we can actually go a little bit further because this is a PBR supported refract thing. So we go to our second material layer for this refract here, Skin 2 Reflex Specular. And we're going to type in, same thing, water B. And we can scale it just like, we can scale it to anything we want, really. We can rotate it if we want, change the intensities. I'm not sure how much I want it to be, but this adds some much needed, much additional details to the thing. And if you want, you can go a little bit hard on this by going rock B. So now you have something that is stationary and has this thing on it. I don't know if you want to find that useful or whatever. Oh, by the way, you can make a nice ice with this as well. I didn't mention that. You can make ice with this. I think you would prefer to make ice with the unlit generic because for parallax depth, which I was talking about earlier. But anyway, so let's just go back to water B. And on this second one, so this pretty much controls the specular level of it and the size of it. So there's that. Then you can add a end map to this as well. So there you go. That's your water. And now we can do something kind of fun, which is to talk about the actual terrain part of the terrain plane. Oh, wait a sec. Before one more thing. Oh, wait a minute. Is there not? Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. I'm just. I forgot that. I'm going to increase the refraction. There we go. I forgot that refract is just by default transparent. So okay. Now, if you bought the deluxe, right? You can import. So let me save. You can import an animation. So you select the model, import animation. Oh my God, this is like a 30-minute, 40-minute video so far. Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, and if you go to this your mod, right? So your mod is called FluidScript Studios Tools, Materials. No, not materials. I'm sorry. Elements, presets. Okay, and you're gonna find a folder full of presets. You can click this water preset, and you can load that in. And this is a custom authored preset. And before you play it, just do this. And you got yourself some wave and water. There's your water right there. So that's your water, okay? With refract and all, see-through and everything. I could probably alter this the way that it looks a bit better. But this looks fine to me right now, currently. So that's your water waves right there. Okay, so the next thing, so now let's talk about presets. I'm going to undo this. So we're going to go back to our flat plane. We're going to go back to vertex lit generic. And what we're going to do, clean up here. So if we go back to vertex lit generic, I'm now going to show you mountains and things like this. So if you type in the deluxe, right? You type in mountains 1 sand A. Mountains 1 _ sand A. Mountain 1. Okay, there we go. So there's your mountain 1. This is a custom made texture specifically for these presets so that they can look nice, but you can use the presets without using these exact textures. We're going to copy that and we're going to paste it, put _B at the end, and now we get the bump map to this. And now what I'm going to show you is the displacement tab here. And what we can do is we can select it, and now we can raise this up to create our mountains. So there's your mountains right here. So we can raise it to as big as we want to. Well, not as big as we want to, but up to this size here, which is pretty jagged. This is a pretty jagged set of mountains. Pretty high up. I like to do it just a little. Oh, here's the flat preset, which brings it back down. So we're going to bring it down right here. And now let's just say we want to mix and match. Let's go to mountain 2. Now we switch here. Now we're going to a second one. So this is a second mountain preset. And you can actually mix and match these two together. So if you want like just a little bit of mountain 2, so let's go flat again. We go to mountain 1. Now let's say we want to mix it with mountain 2 a little bit. Boom, that's our custom combination of mountain 1 and mountain 2. There's mountain 3, so we can introduce a little bit of that into the mix. We also have hills. So let's just show the hills alone. So they look like this at the maximum, right? Flatten them out so that they look like more like hills instead of like jagged whatevers. But if you're into jagged, you know, that's your thing. So we have your hills, and you can combine them with your mountains like this. So now this is another custom sort of shape that includes hills and mountains. Yeah, you can make your own. There's a big space of possible mountain shapes you want to tackle. But you can go even further because there's now crater shapes here too. So we can make a crater like this. So an indentation. Let's actually default, oopsie. Let's go to default this. Oh, not default, let's just make it flat. Don't have to default. So now here's our crater, number 1. You can see it goes down. We can actually mix it with crater number 2. So we can go with that. Crater number 3. We can introduce back we can go all kinds of ways with this. Crater 3. Let's increase a little bit of for 1. So that's our unique crater that we just made. So there you go. That's how we can do that. And by the way, there's multiple of these mountain things. Are they all called mountain? Yeah, they're all called mountain. Might need a better naming scheme for that because, you know, you do the same thing with craters. Let's go to grass A, grass B, okay? And now this is the grass version of this thing. So let's go to flatten this and let's make a little mountain. And this is our mountain that has grass. There's a lot of specular, there's a lot of Phong here, so I'm going to turn down the Phong. Probably why it was so darn bright before. Oh yeah, and I had a little detail intensity on. This is the true colors here. Phong intensity, let's just lower this. Let's put our specular. Oh, we can decrease the specular. Okay, anyway, we can add details like this. I'm actually going to get rid of it for now because grass is not supposed to be that specular. But this is what it looks like, this mountain texture for grass, you know. Looks very much like a good mountain. Let's go to mountain 2, grass. Okay. I don't know why it didn't work the first time. Anyway, there's mountain 2. 2. Mountain 3 now. Also, it 3. The mountain 3 looks like. And yeah, so there's your thing. There's a lot of stuff. I have to actually make a document and update the thing about all the different combinations. But now what I'm going to try to show you guys is the virtual blend texturing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to stand A, stand B, stand B. And now to do virtual blend texturing, what we're going to do is we're going to copy this plane, paste it, and we're going to offset it by a little bit downwards in the Z direction. So that's 64. Let's do 63.9. And what you're going to do, so this second texture is offset. Let's just say we want rocks underneath it. Actually, no, we want rocks to be above it, right? Yeah, we want rocks to be above it. So on this first texture, we're going to go rock A, B, rock B. Let's just go with rock B on this specular for now. And now when we do this detail intensity, it's going to phase out into the thing beneath it. So you have this combination of sand and rock mixing in with each other. Like previously, you can do the same stuff, scaling it arbitrarily as much as you want. You do the same thing with the sand beneath it. Let's choose a different texture. Let's go with soil. D. This will include a sandy type of thing. We can kind of scale it in and out like so. And that's your sandy grass soil thing. Anyway, there's millions of combinations you could make, I'm pretty sure. There's not enough time to go through a bunch of them. But the general idea is that the texture names are simple enough to remember: dirt, soil, rock, brick, and there. And so, you know, you sort of just enumerate through the different things until you get what you want. You switch sliders around. Ultimately, it gives you the power of just being able to explore the space of just all possible texture combinations, and the ability to curate to manipulate them in many ways. So there's also a thing that's possible, which is like, because everything is a slider, you can kind of select multiple of them at like multiple models at once. So you can change like all the parameters at once, you know? So for example, here, right, on both of these things, I could select the texture scale, the detail scale, of that first one and this second one. And you see here, I can actually manipulate all of those at the same time. So I can make them all move at once. I can deselect some of them. Like I deselected 2 of them, and now it's only scaling like the 2 of them or whatever. You could rotate, like you could basically choose multiple models and then rotate them and just do a bunch of like operations at once. So I have a demo of that. That's another thing you can do. Anyway, there's a lot of value there. I hope this basic introduction was pretty fast, but it's I hope it was enough to kind of get you guys going. Join the Discord server, which is linked in the Steam promotion page, and you can actually directly ask me questions about like anything, you know, the purchasing process, installation process, all the stuff you could do with the plane. If you run into any issues with anything or bugs, you can just talk to me there. It's a pretty cool, chill server so far. I'm really enjoying the reception I'm getting from you guys, and it's great, actually. I'm going to try to wrap this video up. So see you later.